Deion,
What's up? What's up? What's up?
how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain. What about you?
Man, listen, I want Victor to win this, man. Like I feel, bro,
Absolutely.
I feel like people are asleep on the HBCU community. I'm looking at all these polls, these predictions. One has Victor at number 5 to win, and then you got
Hmm.
one that doesn't even have him on at all. So let me ask this
Right.
just to start off. Like, how do you think the HBCU community support is going to help Victor get to this win?
I think the HBCU culture is insanely huge, and I think that this was a big opportunity for HBCUs to be spotlighted. Because I feel like it's just extremely important right now, especially with all that we have going on, especially with the racial tension in America. So this is a really huge moment, for us. And so for him to be a representation of that on The Voice, I really think, it's something that we should absolutely 100% support, because these types of shows need this type of, spotlight. And, what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like, HBCUs have always been, it seems like been put on the back burner. So we now have this spotlight where we can, use that platform to our advantage. So why not, vote for him? And so even if the same thing, if I was up there, I would want that same support, you know what I'm saying? So because I also represent an HBCU as well. So that's extremely important, especially, both of us being from North Carolina. So that was a huge deal for him and I.
And man, and the fact that Victor has gotten this far, and like you said, you're from Elizabeth City State University. You have
Right.
Ine that just graduated from Howard. Shout out to Ine, she'll
Right.
be on tomorrow. And then you had Deshaun on American Idol. So man, all of y'all were really doing your thing, man. We were all just so proud of you, just trying to support. So let's start from this, man. So you go to Elizabeth City State University, and you were on The Voice. You made it to that battle
Mhm.
round. So what did that platform mean for your HBCU?
I feel like, what I'm saying, it was bigger. The whole platform itself was bigger than me, and that was my whole outlook on it. And I just wanted to represent my HBCU, because I know sometimes it's especially like Elizabeth City State is a smaller HBCU, and sometimes we don't always get the recognition. Let's say like as A&T might get, simply because it's a bigger university than ours. However, there's an insanely talented people there, and I'm blessed to be one of them. And so I just, wanted to be that representation. And so I knew it would be really big. And that's something that I've always wanted, to have that platform to be, showcased for my talent. And, I just so happened to, represent HBCU. And so, that was really huge for me. And it was also really huge for Elizabeth City State. And they 100% supported me, and still do 100% support me to this day.
I love it, man. So let's just get to why you chose Elizabeth City, man. So what made you choose your HBCU?
Okay, well, I have a lot of family members that went to Elizabeth City State, including my sister. And so I actually got a full ride to Elizabeth City State University. And so that was huge for me. And, to be on, an academic scholarship, that was everything, because my parents did not have the money to send me to school. So, they tell you all the time, you got to go where the money is. And so this is exactly what I did. And so I'm from a small town. And so being that, I am from a small town, that was kind of like a culture shock to me, to be around so many people at one time. And so the more I got involved on campus, it was like none other. The experience was just amazing. So I would, push for any African American to, to go to an HBCU, because like I said, I was heavily involved. I was president of several organizations. I always had an e-board position. I know I was probably participated or a member of, several different organizations while there. So, I was heavily involved, and a lot of people knew me because of my contributions while on campus. So it's really important, to represent HBCU culture at any expense, anytime you get a chance to. So that was definitely, my push, especially like I said, getting the academic scholarship, that was big. So that's where I went.
Man, that's huge, because I'm paying off these student loans right now, man. It ain't no joke.
Yeah,
Listen,
I'm in grad school too, so I know all about student loans.
bro, it's a different type of vibe, man. So do you think that your experience at Elizabeth City helped you in getting into this moment on The Voice? Like, were you singing on campus at talent shows? Like, did that experience help you?
Absolutely. It's really funny because I really didn't start singing until on campus until I would say my junior year. And so I joined Essence of Praise Gospel Choir while I was there. And, I had a solo then, but one moment in particular really stands out is we had a competition called BET Blaze the Stage, where we actually had BET executives come and be the judges for the talent show. And I think Rich Dollars was one of them. And so it was, they had some real people up there. And so that was a great experience for me because, I almost didn't do the competition simply because I just had a lot going on the other end personally. And so I didn't practice. I did practice. I maybe practiced like 5 minutes before the show started. And I really didn't care if I placed or not. That really wasn't my thing. So I really didn't care. I just wanted to sing because I have a love for singing. And so I sang, I practiced 5 minutes before, sang, I got great feedback. One of them was just like, yo, you have a bright future and like your tone sounds, in some elements of your tone, it sounds like John Legend. Can you sing a John Legend song? And I was just like, yeah, I can sing a John Legend song. So I sung a little piece of Ordinary People. It was just like, man, you have a gift and, you're going places. And from that moment, after the results came out, it came out that, I came in second and one of my closest friends came, in first, which is fine because, I feel like she put on a great production. But the thing was, later on we found out that the scores were miscalculated and I actually came in first. Oh. So, and that was the thing. She was a little upset with me because she felt like I should have told her, that the scores are miscalculated, but I'm the type of person where, what I'm saying, that's my friend. I feel like she worked hard. So I was not going to take that moment from her. I just had faith that I knew God would give me that moment back. And little did I know years later, I would be on a platform such as The Voice, being on John Legend's team. Exactly. This very thing that that one of the judges said to me, and so it was just amazing just to have that moment and to see where I am today and what I've done. So that was really big for me. So yeah, I did sing on campus a lot more after that moment. Absolutely.
Wow, and I gotta pull this up because I feel like you just said something that, and we're posting some posts on Sunday. Like I saw this on Twitter. One thing about God is he's going to show you why you had to wait. I'm like, bro, I feel like you are like the epitome of that. Like where it's like the votes miscalculated. You don't even say nothing. Mm-hmm. And then you sang John Legend and you on team John Legend. But absolutely. I have to ask this to a singer. All right. Okay. Why is Ordinary People the talent show song? Is there a reason why?
That's a great question. Honestly, I think it's simple to sing, and when that song came out, it was really big. That was a really big R&B song, and that was a really big staple for John's career when he first came in. That song came out, I want to say, when I was in like high school. So, was it high school or middle school? It was probably middle school, I think. Anyway, one of those. And there was, like I said, it was really big, and so I think it's like the go-to song because it's not too wordy, it's not too much. I feel like you could take your time with it. It's kind of like a ballad a little bit. So it's not too hard to sing. It doesn't require so much. So I think that's what some singers look for. Not a song like "I Will Always Love You" by Whitney Houston, which we know that will take a lot of vocal power to to perform. So we try to look for easy stuff to get away with. So I feel like, that's probably like one of the main reasons, it's just the easiest song to sing.
I feel it, man. And of course, like Victor had that moment where he sang Ordinary People with John Legend. So I just think like, and that was John Legend's defining song. Like, that was his opening into the industry. So I've always noticed that from middle school talent shows to literally like shows such as The Voice, people sing Ordinary People. So I want you to take us on memory lane, man. So I don't know if you've seen an HBC post Instagram live before, but listen, one of the reasons I've been having a hard time paying my student loans, and one of the reasons why is because I spent so much money on all of this equipment. All right, and Instagram not gonna bully me. All right, so we go like because they tried to book. You saw they took the live that they're not gonna bully me tonight. So listen, we have this amazing setup, and I got just a couple clips, and I want you sort of to talk us through it. So this first one I thought was interesting because it's a precursor to your audition. So you
Okay.
sang this song for your audition, but
Mhm.
you know, I heard two different versions of it from you. So let's play the first one.
Oh God.
Tell me something, girl. Are you happy in this modern world? Or do you need more? Is it something that you're searching for? Okay, so people are not confused. This is when you sang it before the voice. So walk us through that. So is that your favorite song? Like you sang it before, now you sing it on the voice. How did you
Um.
get to that point?
Okay. So that's funny because people don't know that I had been singing this song for a minute, and I think that people, um, I wanted to sing this song simply because it is one of my favorite songs because that's one of my favorite songs from The Star Is Born. But I actually never watched the movie. I just love the soundtrack. And me and my band, we had been playing this song. I had been performing it, not the way I performed it on the show, because that was more so the original arrangement. But yeah, I had been singing that song, and it's a song that I've always loved. And I think that, you know, when I chose that song, especially for the show, I wasn't surprised when I got it, simply because I was just like, you know, they probably want to try to see what I can do with a country song as an African American. And I knew what I was doing. It was very calculated, because I knew that's something that people would not expect from an African American. A lot of times, African Americans don't like to touch country, but I'm the type of person where I'm not scared to tamper with other genres, because I feel like, you know, if you were raised in the church, I feel like singing gospel music is the foundation to be able to sing anything. And so I feel like if you could sing that, you could sing anything. So I pride myself on being versatile, and I pride myself on being able to rise to any occasion, regardless of what song someone gives me. I just make it my own. And so that's what I did. And so, you know, when I found out that, you know, I was doing, that's the song that they chose for me. And, you know, we practiced it, and I was like, you know, I'm trying to figure out what arrangement I can do with it. It was totally different from how I perform it with the band. So I was just like, you know, let me see what I can really do with it. And obviously people were pleased because they were just like, yo, this just sounds nothing like the original, which is my goal. I always try to make, you know, I always try to make sure I respect the original song, but I like for the original song to have their place. And then I like for me to have my place. So that's just how I always look at, you know, what I always look at whenever I approach a song. So that song is no stranger to me whatsoever.
Wow, so it's so many questions that can come from that. So that's a country song.
Absolutely.
Wow.
From the
So
movie from the movie A Star Is Born. It's actually an Oscar-winning song. So I was the first African American to sing that on the show. So I was excited.
man,
Absolutely.
y'all, man, all the HBCU singers just making history on the show, man. It's crazy. First and foremost. But I think that comes up to a very important point. So this is something that was said that we want to hop forward a little bit into tonight, if we can go back, you know, to your audition. Like this is what I saw from one of these articles. So Cam Anthony is predicted to come out on top to give Team Blake Shelton his eighth win as a coach on The Voice. And the website Parade predicts that Cam's gonna win. But here's the thing that they thinking. The only person that can beat Cam is Kenzie, who's a country singer. And Blake has won 7 times. And this is just from what they're saying and what I'm seeing. So Blake's won 7 times, and traditionally he normally has country singers. So on these shows, did you lean towards that song because you see on like shows like American Idol and The Voice that is more so of a country singer that they go towards? Is that the reason why you chose it, or do you just want to show a versatility?
I was, like I said, everything I do is calculated. I was trying to be very smart about my decisions. Originally, I did not want to go with John Legend. That was not my choice. My choice was Blake Shelton because I knew he specialized in country music. So Cam auditioned before me. So, you know, once Cam auditioned and he chose Blake, you know, Blake closed that lane off. So I was just like, okay, so there's really nothing that I can do. He wanted, you know, to turn around for me, but I mean, it is what it is now. So, of course, I chose John. And so I knew it was going to be a battle simply because I knew who was on that team. And it didn't scare me at all because, you know, I was confident enough in myself to, you know, to be able to feel like I could hold my own regardless. But I definitely wanted to be on Blake's team because I felt like me being an African American, you know, in going into a country genre, I feel like I was going to dominate it. So I really hate that y'all only got to see a fraction of what I was able to give, but yeah, I definitely wanted to be on Blake's team.
So what's interesting is I actually went back to the one with Cam, and John Legend wanted Cam, but Nick blocked John from getting Cam because he thought he was gonna get Cam, but Cam didn't even pick him. So Nick blocked John, and Cam blocked Nick to get to Blake. So what you're telling me is that if Nick never blocked John, he probably would have picked John, and you would have picked Blake. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, because Cam wanted John.
Wow.
Cam wanted John. So yeah, that's how that works. So I would have never been on John's team had had John never been blocked. I'd have definitely been on Blake's team.
Bro, like, see, you see how we're getting the exclusives? Like, who else is doing this?
Yeah.
Bro, because I was thinking, because I was like, bro, that was so dirty that Nick had blocked John, and John was sort of perturbed by that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He was like, bro, this man really blocked me. Like, he really just blocked me. Like, that's crazy. So it's like the order of that really put the teams where they were, and even the results where they were. That wow.
Right.
So let's get to the audition. So we played, the one rendition. So immediately when I was in editing and I was editing things together, I noticed the change. So let's listen to your audition.
Tell me something, girl.
Wow.
Are you happy in this modern world? Or do you need more? Is there something else you're searching for? I'm falling, and all the good times I find myself longing.
So I'm not a singer, but what I noticed was that on that part, so from the first, audio that we heard to this one, I heard you from jump with the first one sort of giving that power and giving that range. With this one, it's like you were walking them down. You were like, first y'all gonna hear this soft part, and then you gonna hear me go crazy with it. So, and I noticed a lot of folks be doing that. So is that the plan when you do the audition, to sort of start off slow and then you really just go crazy and then hope for some chair turns? Is that the plan?
Okay, so that is all right. So I'm gonna just give you a backstory. So I never watched the film. I've never watched the film of A Star Is Born. So what really helped me get into it was I was in vocal lessons, and I was told, to watch the film. And I was just like, okay, well, that makes sense. I never watched the film, but I love the soundtrack. There's a lot of other songs on the soundtrack that I love. And so I was like, okay. So I watched the film. I found out in the film how they came up with the song, and I understood the lyrics a lot better. And so when I approached the song, it was more conversational, because that's what it was in the movie. It was like a conversation between the two. However, I'm only one person and I'm singing a duet song. So now I have to give a conversation from a one person's point of view. So that was my whole thing. And I was just like, how can I approach this song? So yeah. So I started off slow, and I only have 90 seconds to give all I got in this song. So yes, I made sure that, you got a little bit of my lower tone. And then, I gradually, took you up the stairs, and, I gave you that. And then, from that part, when the climax hit, that's when I was just like, okay, we in it, let's do it. And so, like I said, you only have 90 seconds to sing the song. You have to make the best of it. And how I looked at it was, it's a job. I came here to do a job. So I have to make sure that I'm doing my job to the best of my ability. So that's what it was. And so that was my whole approach. You start off slow, give them a little bit, then you take them up, give them a little bit, then you go up some more and give them the bang, and you end on a good note, and that's it. So, within seconds, they turn. So that's how they worked out.
So I love it. So let's go back to the audition process before that audition. So I was speaking with someone today, and I think they auditioned for The Voice, and they talked about sort of the road to getting to the show. And it's a difference between an American Idol and The Voice, because American Idol, if you can't sing, they're going to show you can't sing and laugh at you. You can go viral. But on The Voice, everybody can sing. So
Right.
walk us through that. So is it true that it's like 3 rounds until you get the opportunity to be on? Like walk us through that point of view, deciding to go on The Voice and then being up there on that stage.
Okay, so I was scrolling on Instagram one day and I just so happened to see a sponsor ad. I was not following NBC, The Voice. I was not following any of that. And I just so happened to see a sponsor ad audition, and this was in July. And so I picked the date, picked the time, and I auditioned. And it was a virtual audition. Of course, we're in the pandemic. So, because normally I think the process would be you have to fly out or go wherever your nearest city is to you and audition in person. So, I did a virtual audition, and within like minutes, you find out if you make it to the next round. So, I really wasn't sure if I was going to get picked simply because, you know, it's a virtual audition. I know how this stuff goes. This is not my first year. I tried out for Sunday's Best. I tried out for American Idol. So this is not my first, you know, time, you know, this is not my first time getting my feet wet in this type of stuff. So I was just like, whatever. So I just did it. And I really wasn't sure about it because like my audio was good, but I was having some internet connectivity issues. So the quality of the video was kind of like a little distorted, but the audio was perfect. So I sang a small portion of Bob Marley's No Woman, No Cry. And I sang that, submitted it, and maybe probably within like 30 minutes, I got a email stating that I made it to the next round. So boom, next round comes, I have to submit 3 videos. I submitted, they wanted you to have an up-tempo, mid-tempo, and a slower song. So I did all 3. I did Sam Cooke, A Change Is Gonna Come. These had to be full-length videos. Sam Cooke, Change Is Gonna Come. Tina Turner, Proud Mary, and George Gershwin's Summertime. And so I did all 3 of those, and I had a deadline to meet to submit those videos. What happened? The videos did not upload. So I was like, oh, I missed the deadline, but something told me to try it again. Try it again. The videos did not upload. So when I got to work, I said, you know what? I'm going to do it one more time. So I did it. The videos uploaded. I really wasn't sure if they was going to accept it or not because they were late. However, God is a person he is. Well, he's not a person, but he's who he is. And, you know, he moved some mountains for me. And, you know, I got a call maybe like a few weeks later, probably like 2 weeks later. And it was like, you know, hey, you know, we want to do a little interview with you, get to know you a little bit better. Boom. Next thing you know, hey, got a call. You're going to LA. That's it.
Wow. So you had to go through a journey just to even get just on the show with the internet. Man, I know how that feels like, because and the thing about it is what I really love about that story is that you kept trying. You know, you weren't going to let
Absolutely.
that get you down.
Nope.
So I wanted to touch on this aspect later on because this was the conversation we led on last week. But you tried out for Sunday Best. We interviewed Jada Spite, who goes to Fizz currently, and you know she got first runner up. And then of course we interviewed Just John last week. So the conversation that we had on the second episode on last week was about just the viability of these shows in 2021 with TikTok and with these different music discovery platforms. So do you think after being on The Voice that the reality TV singing competition route is the best way for artists? Or do you think that maybe getting that independent grind together is the best for 2021?
Okay, that's an amazing question. I feel like because I've done a lot of research on my own prior to this show, because I'm really big on studying the greats, and then I also pay attention to what's current as well. And so you see so many people who are in fights with their labels trying to get released, and you know, trying to get what's owed to them, trying to fight for their masters. And so you have to take all that stuff into account when you're dealing with music, because in the music industry, because the music industry is very, you know, it can be very conniving. You know, it definitely can deal you a bad hand if you're not smart. And so I definitely took it upon myself to educate myself on, you know, how the industry goes and how it works and what contracts are and what you're signing and what you're not supposed to sign, what's a bad contract look like, you know, all of this stuff. And so I feel like at this point, I think the show is great for you exposure-wise. Do I necessarily feel like it's the best for you long-term? I feel like it's kind of like I feel like it's a
Yeah. I feel what you're trying to say. I feel what you're trying, because I don't think you're trying to say, oh, it's terrible, don't do it. But
Yeah,
I feel
it's
like
not. Yeah, I'm not trying to say that. I'm just trying to, like, when you look at, okay, perfect example. When Blake said, we've never had a superstar on the show. Absolutely correct. When you think about shows like American Idol back in the day, when they produced people like Kelly Clarkson, Fantasia, Jennifer Hudson, people like that, yes, you absolutely think about that. But The Voice hasn't done that yet. Not saying that it doesn't have the capabilities, but we haven't seen that yet in 20 seasons. So that should say a lot. You know, if Blake, who is a seasoned veteran judge on that show, can say that, then we ought to start turning heads and looking. So
right.
that's just, you know, me being honest, but I'm always going to fight for the independent grind. I feel like that's really smart. I feel like if you ever want to be in a position where you have your own creativity and you have full control over your projects and what you want to write, what you want to say, what you want to sing about, your masters and publishing and things of that nature. Yes, I feel like the independent route is the best, because sometimes, you know, labels can work against you. And, you know, sometimes if you make a wrong move, sometimes, you know, you can be shelved, and there's really nothing, you know, there's nothing you can do. You're locked on a contract. So you just have to be smart. Have good people around you. Have, you know, people who aren't just going to set you up for the okie doke. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to sign, I'm not against signing, you know, to a label, but I feel like I definitely know what, you know, I am looking for, what I want out of my contract. And, you know, I'm going to make sure, you know, I have good lawyers, you know, to look at it, and anything that I don't understand, I'm going to make sure they help me understand. So you have to look at that. Like, that's really smart. So I think for right now, I feel like the real work comes after, you know, after you're off the show, and what you do with that platform, what you do with your new followers, and what content you produce, and, you know, to keep people interested in you. That's what you really do. That's how you take social media by storm. Because before this, you know, one of my videos went viral on Facebook and then Instagram, of just me singing. So that alone, and you know, one of my favorite singers, Leandria Johnson, commented and noticed it. And, you know, that was huge for me, because she's a huge influence of mine. And so, you know, I've had conversations with Donald Lawrence via Instagram and Rashawn Mitchell. So, you know what I'm saying? This is well before the show. So like I said, like, like, social media is powerful. It's what you choose to do with it. And so I feel like that's just, you know, a testament as to what my vocal abilities are. I didn't need a show to tell me that I can sing. I was singing before, during, and after the show, so I'm gonna be fine. So I just feel like, you know, it's what you really do with the opportunity that really makes the best of it for you. But if I was going to choose a route, absolutely independent all day.
Wow, that was powerful what you said, man. Especially the part when you said that a show doesn't make your voice. A show is not going to make you. Because what I said, I want to play Blake's comment about, you know, the superstar situation. What I said on last week was that why aren't shows in 2021 such as The Voice or American Idol a part of the plan, the PR plan, or the rollout? You should have an audience already. You build up that audience, then it makes it better for you when you're on the show. That's what Victor's doing. And then even if you think about Cam was he sung on Ellen, he sang for the Obamas, he was signed to Dr. Dre's Aftermath, he won Showtime at the Apollo. So he had a sector of experience before he got on The Voice. So for those that don't know what we're talking about, this is what Blake said in reference to Cam on last week, and then the whole entire controversial thing of The Voice has never created a superstar.
I've never had more people ask me about an artist on my team. In 20 seasons of doing this show, man, you could be the first superstar that we launch off this show.
And I mean, like, I just felt as if, and let me ask you this before we move on to You Got It Bad. Okay. Do you blame the artist or the label? Because we hear Blake and Adam Levine. Adam Levine was on Howard Stern. He went off sort of about the aspect of The Voice creating stars. This has been a conversation for years. So do you think that it's more so the artist trying to go for the attention of what The Voice brings and not having a sustainable brand before that, or music before that? Or do you solely blame the label, or do you blame the show for not developing the artist within them being in the competition? I lean more towards the show and the label, because the show can make sure artists such as Victor and Pia and Cam and Kenzie know what to do on social media, and then when they leave, it's almost like they're in a boot camp. So what do you think about that aspect of things?
You know, I'm trying not to play a blame game here. I wouldn't necessarily place blame. I would say that there needs to be a conversation, a really good conversation, because I feel like everybody's in two different books or chapters in that book, and it's not on the same page. And so I feel like there's a lot more that you could do as a label and as as production and this, that, and the third, to support the artists, whether they're on the show, whether they're off the show. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that shouldn't be the last that you hear or see from them. And as these judges or coaches are, the mentors, I feel like, after the show is over, that shouldn't be the last time that you hear or work from them, because you have so much power. So why not use that? Why not help develop, other artists and mentor them and give them great words of wisdom and advice and put them in contact, with great people? You have that power. You have the ability to do that, because you also have to remember you wanted that as well when you wanted to be in the industry. Nobody, was just giving handouts. Somebody helped put you on too. So I think a lot of times, sometimes we forget that. We forget that whole humility aspect of, us wanting to be in the industry. So I just feel like, sometimes that also plays a huge part in it as well, because when you think about people like Clive Davis, who was an actual judge on American Idol, he made sure that Fantasia and Jennifer Hudson was taken care of. He had a huge hand in their careers after the fact, and Jennifer Hudson didn't even win. And look at what Jennifer Hudson is now, an Oscar winner, and she's about to play Aretha Franklin in her biopic that's coming up in August. So I just feel like you just have to think about that type of stuff. And he wasn't even original judge on that show at that time. He was a guest. So that's a testament as to how much he loves music, how much he believes in music, and how much he believes in that artist as well. So I feel like, that's big. And so that plays a huge part when it comes down to these shows. The shows, it shouldn't just be about who the judge is swiveling around in the chair. These artists take literally sometimes all that they have and put everything on the line to come on these shows. So the least that you could do is promote them and support them in the best way. Because at the end of the day, you're getting paid millions to do this. And you know what I'm saying? So I just feel like you don't forget where you come from when it comes down to, helping others along the way, because you have to remember that you were one day sitting in that same position, if not on that show, wanting to be where you are today. So I just feel like it's extremely important.
Wow. It's so many different ways we can segue this conversation, but we're going to move on. We might have to do a part 2 of this thing, man. Cause we really going in right now. But
I think people, and like when I go on Vic 5, people love me to come up there because I'm always going to say something real. I'm always be open and honest. Like, that's just me. I don't know any other way to be.
Right. And I think that the honesty is the best aspect of things, because that, to me, that's what's going to get the people. To me, the honesty and the transparency of the journey and of who the person is, people fall in love with the person nowadays more than just the musical ability. And I think that that's where a lot of these labels, that's where a lot of these shows miss, is that there's a reason why, we were supporting you. There's a reason why we were supporting Nane and Deshaun and now Victor as he goes on to try to be in the finale. It's because of the story. It's because of the representation. So I think that's important. But let's transition into You Got It Bad, right? I think that this has to be the defining moment of the season at this point, because you did this duet. Nobody wanted y'all to go home. Everybody was trying to put y'all in a group together at this point.
And for me,
for me, so honestly, admittedly, I am watching The Voice because of y'all. Okay, like what just because of Victor, but I'm watching because of all y'all. I was watching American Idol because of Deshaun. I was watching The Voice because of you, Ine, and Victor. So I was a little bit out the loop. So I was like, okay, so cool. They gonna get on the team, do whatever. Then I saw the battle round. I'm like, okay, so they're battle. Like, okay, so it's the battle. Let's get it. What's going on? I saw y'all paired on. I'm like, bro, that's so dirty. They gotta get one HBCU student off the show. But then I was like, wait, they're singing together. So it was something that sort of puzzled me. So before we play a snippet of that, walk us through that thought process, because we spoke with Just John on last week. He said that he was paired against in the battle round. They already knew that they were going to be paired together. So first and foremost, did you know you and Victor would be paired together?
I wouldn't say I knew literally, but I kind of had an inclination that we will be partners. I really didn't. As I was scanning my team, I really didn't find too many that I would feel like I would possibly go against. Not that anything like that, but I was just thinking, I was just like, I know John is going to put me and Victor together. I know he is, because he probably feels like we are one and the same in different aspects. I mean, in different aspects. I'm just like, okay, so if we are, just prepare your mind for it. It is what it is. It's going to be a showdown, because I was not giving up easy. I don't care who they put me beside. That's neither here nor there. I was just not going to do that. And I knew that was the same thing for Victor as well. And so, me and him, we went into this thing with, okay, when they announced it, cool. It's business as usual, But before that, me and Victor, like, people don't, me and Victor are close. Like, yes. When I say we are close, like, we are close. And, like, behind the scenes, y'all don't get to see that, but, like, we tight. And so that's what made it even better, because he was, like, one of the first contestants that, I got close with. And so, like I said, we went into it. We were just like, all right, so this is how we're going to do this. This is not going to be a battle. This is simply going to be a duet performance. That's it. We was not trying to outdo the other. We both knew that we were beasts individually, but collectively we were about to be a force. And we knew that the performance that we were going to give was going to be A1, because we pride ourselves in giving a great performance vocally, all of that. So, it was just a lot that played into it. And so we practiced hard. Some days we didn't have no voice to sing, but we made it work. The dance moves came from Victor, because I personally, I was not the type of person to, like, I'm not a dancer. Like, this is not my thing. I never felt like I really had to do that too much, because it was just like, like, I'm just one of those. I come from a Baptist church. All I know is flat foot singing. That's it. So, so when Victor introduced the whole aspect of, possibly doing, like, some choreography, I was like, okay, let me see it. And so when I saw it, I was just like, okay. So we practiced it. I was like, okay, it looks good. I didn't think it was going to look good on me, but it did. And so it worked. And, we practiced forever. And, it was really hard too, because I do a lot of things vocally that Vic doesn't do, and he also does things that I don't do. And so I'm really big on phrasing and how I phrase my notes and my syllables. Mm-hmm. And so Victor noticed that, and that was really hard. That was really hard for me, because certain aspects of the song, he was just like, Dia. He was just like, it's this and not that. I was just like, listen. It was hard, because I had to really like, consider that, I have a partner now. It's not about me. Right. And so I really had to, like, get in my duet bag, and I had to make sure that, I wasn't phrasing things like I normally would. I had to, phrase them how we came up with whatever arrangement together, and that's just how it was. And so we went on stage and we did our thing, and I feel like, and even in our practice session with Brandy, we both had to, that wasn't shown, but we both had to do the song individually, and then we had to do it collectively. But what y'all saw was a collective portion. And that was a great experience, because it was funny, because me and Victor, while I was waiting to see Brandy, we were literally singing Brandy songs out in the waiting area. And so I told him, I said, this is either going to be the mentor. I said, it's not going to be a male because he had Miguel last season, so it's going to be a female. I said, it's either going to be Jasmine Sullivan or it's going to be Brandy. I said, why? Because they've had 2 big years in R&B and they're staples in the R&B game. And so I was like, it would make sense. And so, like I said, he was singing, what was he singing? I think I was singing Say Something. And he was singing, I want to say it was No Tomorrow or something to that effect. I can't remember what song it was. But anyway, and so we walked in and we found out it was Brandy Boy. Our faces and jaws hit the floor. Like,
Yeah.
it was a raw reaction. That was like the staple for me, to be in the presence of a vocal Bible and an R&B legend, and to be stamped, and then to also have her be like, yo, can you teach me that run? Absolutely. Like, are you kidding me? So the funny thing is, like I said, we do it individually and then we do it collectively. So how they piece it together was like the ending, that run that I did was my individual portion of the song. So that's what they kind of like taped in there. But yeah, that's how it was. And she loved both of us. And I could tell that she really wanted to sing with us, but because COVID was a thing, we couldn't hug and we couldn't really interact physically like that. So that really sucked. But other than that, it was a great experience. And I feel like to this day, like that battle will go down in the Voice battle history, like, because we did what had to be done. And like I always tell Vic, he always laughs at this. I was like, we gave what's supposed to have been gave.
Right.
He always laughs at that, but that's it. That's what we did.
Y'all understood the assignment, as we say now. Y'all understood it?
That is a thing that we understood. We absolutely understood the assignment. That's it.
Y'all understood it. Y'all passed it. Y'all turned it in early. Y'all did all of that, man. I'm telling you. Y'all understood that, man.
We were very proactive with that assignment. Very.
Man, I'm telling you. So, like, I just have to say before we play, You Got It Bad, real quick, just a clip of it. Man, that's Moesha, bro. That's Moesha. Like, that's my child, bro. When I tell,
that's who we grew.
Bro, if I had saw Brandy, I would have been like, listen, Kobe got to go on pause for a second. I'm not gonna hold you. That's Moesha. Wait a minute. I'm like, hold up, wait a minute.
Right.
This is the Randall that after school will be watching Moesha on UPN that has to go hug Moesha. Like, bro.
Right. Like,
and then I would have asked her, the first I would ask, I said, listen, man, first of all, man, I love you. You Moesha to me. But let me ask you this. What happened to Miles? He just disappeared and never came back. What happened to Miles? Like,
yeah, we don't know. We don't know to this day. I don't know.
So, like, Miles still kidnapped at this point. We just don't know. Like, Miles kidnapped, watch The Voice in the car at this point. We don't know. Anyway, man. Anyway, let's play You Got It Bad real quick. And I want you to let us know just about that moment on the stage. Let's play it real quick.
And every one of y'all is just like me. It's too bad that you can't see.
Man, when I tell you that was the hardest clip out of everything that we've done so far, because it's like you just wanted to keep going, and like how y'all came with it. So let me ask you this. So I asked Just John this about his time on season 19. So when you're up there and it's you and Victor, you guys went in and you were like, this is not a battle, this is a duet. And it's like, okay, we got to choose somebody and not choose. What is it like? Like, do they really just make it at this point, was it drawn out where it's like, I'm going to make y'all wait and your heart going to be bumping? Or was it like, I choose Victor and then you just move on, or I choose Deion? Like, what was it like standing up there on that stage? Was it like forever? Or was it just like, boom, over, all right, Victor, see you later?
It was nerve-wracking. It was very nerve-wracking, just to kind of like hear, the critiques and this, that, and the third, because like, in your mind, you feel like you did an amazing job. And so we don't get to hear what we did until it airs on TV. So, when you hear the critiques and you don't really agree with them, and then, you get booted off and whatever, And, you know, they say, but like I said, before they even got to me, of course, you know, it was just like, you know, John gave his spiel, and he said what he said about me. Then he, you know, he was just like, I choose Victor. He said, I choose Victor. You know, Victor goes off the stage, and from that moment, it's just me. So it's kind of like what's really shown on TV. Like nothing, they didn't cut or any edit. They didn't edit any of that out. So what you saw is basically how it went. So it wasn't like some long, drawn out process or anything like that. It was literally like, you know, that was it. So yeah, it wasn't like no crazy moment how it was like when Blinds where you trying to make the decision, you know.
Yeah.
How that, yeah, it wasn't like that. It was literally cut and dry. It was literally this, okay, you have the opportunity to save XYZ, and you start walking up the steps. If you hear that buzzer, you're saved or stolen. If you don't hear it, you know it's time to go home. So I think for me that moment was really tough. I'm always transparent about that moment,
right?
Because I think a lot of people try to act like it doesn't bother them, but that really bothered me, simply because I know for a fact I did what needed to be done.
Yeah,
and it was just confusing because, you know, these coaches in the audition process, they fight for you. And when it's when opportunity presents itself where you can actually like be saved or stolen, it's almost like you're a ghost, so they don't see you on stage. So it's like, it's really weird. Like I said, I can see if I did a bad job, but that was a goal for me and Victor. We was just like, yo, like we gonna make sure that we do a good enough job where both of us are going to be saved/stolen. Like there's no negotiations. Like that was how we went into it, and that's the mindset that we have. So when that didn't happen, like we were like, what? Like Victor really didn't even know what to say to me when because we rode there together to Universal Studios. So on the way back, we rode back together, and so he really didn't know what to say to me because he was like, at that moment, what do you say? You know what I'm saying? Like he was just confused. And even the producers, when I walked off stage, you know, they apologized, like Deion, like it was like they saw a ghost. They didn't know what happened. It was just like they were just confused because they felt like, you know, the performance was A1. So we were just like, what? So we were all in a state of shock at that point in time. But yeah, like I said, Victor didn't know what to say to me, and rightfully so. I get it, because you know what I'm saying. Like I said, we were conjoined at the hip before we even, you know, were battle partners, and you know. Then we got even closer as battle partners because we worked day in and day out on this show, changing stuff, getting critiques, going back and, you know, perfecting this and doing that and listening to the clips over and over again. So, you know, it was just a lot. And so, you know what I'm saying, when you feel like you do everything that you're supposed to do and do everything that they asked you to do on that stage, and then when you don't get saved/stolen, you felt like you didn't do enough or you wasn't good enough or, you know, you did a bad performance. And then you really don't know what you gave until it airs on TV because you don't get to see it.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like you just never know. So that's just how that whole moment went. But it was, like I said, it was an amazing journey. And, you know, Victor's definitely my favorite. Cam is definitely my favorite. So, you know, I'm definitely rooting for them and the rest of the, you know, the cast, because, you know, like I said, we all had a relationship outside of just the performance aspect. So, you know, that's just what it is. Sometimes, you know, the cookie crumbles that way, and you know, sometimes God will spin the block for you and give you another avenue, and that's just who He is. So this is definitely not, you know, the last you'll see or hear from me. So that's just, you know, my belief.
First and foremost, we gotta put that in the Hall of Fame. God gonna spin the block for you. All right, that's the first thing. Right, gonna spin the block with the strap. He gonna spin the block with it and shoot them blessings at you. All right, that's first and foremost.
That's it.
Also, let's just say what should happen. Blake should have stole you. All right, listen, I've been on Blake since we started this. All right, first and foremost, I'm the person that said, we got an audience here. I'm the person that said, like, oh, because I don't want to think of like Blake didn't know that John Legend sang Glory allegedly, and then like Starla, who's my co-host, was like, you know, like you think Blake watched Selma? Blake didn't watch Selma. Let's be honest. First and foremost, he did not watch no Selma. But first and foremost, I'll be the one to say it. But also, he should have saved you. Like the opportunity was there, you know. So I feel like first and foremost, I blame Blake. First and foremost, they will apologize for Blake. First and foremost, but outside of that, in all seriousness, man, all this support you have here, we're live on Instagram. All the support you have in here, like just all the support, you know, I've been seeing on your social media, and when you all go live. You know, it's big. And, you know, it's definitely not the end of the road because you have the right mindset. You have the skill set. You have the talent. And it isn't the end of the road because you're building upon your brand and you're already connecting with people. So, man, like we not worried about it, man. We're not worried about it because all of y'all are amazing, man. You in grad school. You represent for Elizabeth City, man. You really are a legend at Elizabeth City, man. Like, you got to realize that we talk about you 10 years from now. I'm like, man, Deion was on The Voice. Remember he was on The Voice? Yo, man, like, come on, man, you did that. So let's get into some analyzation, man. Let you know, the play-in tournament for basketball starts on tomorrow. So let's put on, like, our analyst hat, right? So I'm going to give real quick. I'm going to give my people that I think is making it to the top 5, right? So, of course, we're going to start with Victor. Victor, team legend, by popular vote. I think Victor's making it. But for the other people, so I think for Team Kelly, I think Kenzie makes it. I think for Team Blake, I think Cam is a lock. And for Team Nick, I honestly think that Rachel Mack is going to make it, but Dana's going to get saved in that battle. So what do you think about that list?
Ooh, that's hard. Especially because I love Dana, and you know it's hard when you have like personal relationships with these people, so it's different. Because I love Pia, and I love oh my God, it's hard. If I had my choice, I'd definitely say Cam, Cam, Rachel, Dana, Pia, Vic.
As the five.
Yeah.
So you don't think Kenzie?
This is my. He's gonna make it. That's what I would like to see.
I understand, and I get it.
Yeah, but Kenzie, he's been a consistent country singer, like absolutely so. I feel like that kind of like goes without saying. And I also told Vic this too. I was like, Vic, you have a huge support system. I was like, so public vote, that's really not a thing. I said, because when you think about like A&T itself has a huge following and has, you know, so many support systems. So he's not going anywhere. He's allowed. But I don't know, like it's different. And I think I can say it's different simply because, or not to put your trust in that, simply because I look at my situation. I look at many other situations that I came across as well. And you would think that people would be there and they don't make it. So it's really hard to kind of like lock people in like that, because I've been shown personally, and I've also witnessed from other seasons, you know, how things pan out when it comes down to that. So that's hard to say, but I don't know. I'm trying to stay away from that because, like I said, I have a personal relationship with some of these people, so and I love them, and I want them to succeed, and I want them to make it.
Yeah, for sure.
So my top 5 will stand as such. But
I feel it.
America has, you know, they have the final say at this point. But listen, you know, like I said, God will spin some stuff, so you know that too. But yeah, that's just how I see it.
For me, as long as God spins the block for Victor, we good. All right, listen. It's like, you know what I'm saying? As long as he spins the block for Victor, we gonna be straight.
Absolutely.
But I mean, like, I just think it's interesting just watching, because like I do think Cam does have a star quality. Like I don't want, you know, the support of Victor to make it seem as if, you know, we're dissing Cam. Because that's sort of what I hate. He's bringing up basketball, like even this conversation that's been going on recently about your Chris Paul or Nikola Jokic. And, you know, the thing is that, like, hey, both of them are playing well, but I personally would choose Chris Paul. It doesn't mean the other person isn't playing well. So I think that Cam is a star, but I just don't believe that, you know, that diminishes the star of Victor, because on that show, we cannot point to any other contestant right now that has a built-in support system of A&T, which is a prominent HBCU, like the number one public HBCU, and then the largest HBCU, and then also just the HBCU community in general. So, like, for me, I just think that, and I was saying that at the beginning, I think that that's not being accounted for, because it was an article that I read that was like, oh, Victor got the top votes. Yes, he did. What is the shock that Victor got the top votes? Like, I think that people are at a rush for Cam because of what Blake said and because of the talent and also because of his backstory. But at the same time, it's like, I feel like the media makes their pick. I feel like y'all are going to make your pick. And then the HBCU community clearly is behind Victor. But I think that's the disconnect, because I saw a comment that was like, oh, this is a big popularity contest. Duh. That's literally what it is. It is a popularity. It's not a pageant. It's a popularity contest. Who's the most popular? So I feel like that's the part for me that has it where it's like, I think that if we're looking at it from the aspect of, okay, Team John Legend, like, and I want to ask you this, right? So do you see what I see? Because I've seen John rock with Victor this whole entire season. Am I wrong for saying that, or is there some truth to that?
No, I feel like, and I think there was a difference between, like, that's why I feel like there was probably going to be like a real difference when I was on the team, because I feel like, you know, I feel like, you know, John could identify with, or he saw a little bit more of himself in Victor than he did me. Because I feel like I was totally different. Like, I feel like Vic sounds like John. He definitely sounds like John in some aspects. And so, and that was fine. And so I just feel like, you know, that, and then also, you know, he sang the song in front of Common, then, you know, then he sang the song as, you know, for his blind audition. So I feel like, you know, it was kind of like predestined for Victor to be on John's team. And that's perfectly fine. And I think that, you know, with the HBCU support that he has, and he has so many accolades behind his name, you know, of course, being, you know, Mr. A&T and then Mr. HBCU. So now he's on a major platform such as The Voice, where everybody gets to witness, you know, the kind of power that he has within the HBCU community itself. So I felt like that's going to work extremely well for him. And also alongside Cam. Cam is only 19, but he has done so much musically at a very young age. And that also helps him out too, which is why he's such a dynamic performer and he executes extremely well. And so I feel like, you know, they're both going to make the top. Like, that's not even a question for me. That's, you know, that's just what it is. They're definitely going to be top 5. Those two, I can see it already. They're definitely going to be top 5. They're not going anywhere. Sure. Simply because they both have huge platform and huge support systems. And that's just what it is. I'm proud of them both. And, you know, I definitely want them to, you know, to go into it. Into that top 5, you know, with their head held high, regardless of, you know, what the outcome may be for the next round of results. Because, you know, America is voting. Right. And so if the HBCUs don't get together and vote for Victor, then, you know what I'm saying, we can't be mad at whatever result we get.
Very true. 100%. So let me ask this one last question, and then we're going to end talking about just you and your upcoming career. So do you think, and I want to bring this back up from the beginning of the interview, do you think that a country bias is going to affect the results? Because in your personal list, Kenzie wasn't on that. But do you think, because Victor, for example, sang a gospel song, that's his bag. He was the most comfortable singing a gospel song more than he was singing You Got It Bad. You know, so do you think that country, even though hip hop is the dominant genre in America with R&B sort of tagging behind it, because hip hop and R&B are so much together, and then country being that definitive second top genre, and we see a lot of, you know, the voters and watchers of this show skew more towards country. Do you think that's going to affect the results at the end of the day when it's now the HBCU community versus the folks that's rocking with Cam since he was 14 versus Kenzie and the country audience? Do you think that will ultimately determine the votes, or will it be based on, hey, Cam was given this crown by Blake, Victor got the HBCU support? You know what I'm saying? What do you think the country sort of bias in a way in America will shift that result?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be biased, because when you think about the demographic of the show, it's not African Americans.
Yeah.
We're a small percentage of that demographic. So absolutely going to lean towards country. Why has Blake won so many seasons, and why have there only been 2 African American winners in 20 seasons, and why have there been no female African American singer in none of the seasons? So that should give you an indication as to what we're up against by itself. So like I said, if the HBCUs do not come together and vote for Victor, then he's gonna be top 5, but we can't 100% say that he's gonna be number 1. He's gonna place, but he might not be number 1 if we don't do what we're supposed to do as an HBCU community. The same thing goes for Cam. If the African American community does not come together and vote for him, then that's just what it is.
Exactly.
So like I said, I feel you just have to look at the demographic of the show. It's not us. It's not African American based. And then like I said, you have to look at the list of winners and the type of winners, or the people who sing that type of genre, which is usually country. They are the ones who usually win the show. So I think the first season of The Voice, a Black person won. First season of the show, a Black person won. But like I said, there have only been 2 African Americans to win in 20 seasons. So like I said, you can think what you want to think about that, but that's just what it is. That's just the demographic of the show. So people gonna vote for what they truly love in their heart.
Right.
So like I said, if the HBCU community don't do their job, then we can't be mad at whatever result we get. However, he's going to be celebrated regardless of what place he places, and Cam as well. And and there's also Gianna Zoe, she's up there too. She's an African American, and she's young as well, and I think she's young as Cam, or if not younger. And then we have Dana, who's a powerhouse, and then we have Pia, who's so cool and social with her reggae thing.
Right.
So we have the opportunity, and that's what I think what made me so upset with this season. We had a huge amount of African American representation, and a lot of them were cut.
Yeah.
And they were amazing. And so I feel like this show really had, especially this season, really had the opportunity to expand upon that, show some diversity, and really put that to the forefront and try to change the narrative of what this show, appears to be and sounds like behind the scenes, but didn't do that. So it is what it is. But like I said, they're definitely going to make the top, and we just have to do our part. And if we don't do our part, then we can't be mad.
Very true. And I want to get this course correction. I looked up, it's 3 Black winners actually. So it's Javier Colin, you were right. He won season 1. Then Jermaine Paul won season 2. Then Chris Blue won season 12.
I forgot about Chris. Okay.
Yeah. So shout out to all the Black winners.
Still not many.
Still not many. 3 out of 20.
Right.
Well, the 3 out of 19. Like, listen, like, if you did a test in school on your final exam, you got 3 out of 19. You got to take that class again. All right, so I just
and that's what it is.
Yeah, so I feel it. That's a great analysis, man. So many ways to go. We definitely have to bring you back, man. But let's end it talking about you, man. So you on The Voice. You had that amazing duet. You made The Voice history. So what's next for you? So you're in grad school. So do you have any singles coming out? Any songs coming out? What's up?
Well, I actually do have a single out on music platforms called Fantasy. It's actually under my band's name, and that's a new band on the block. But yeah, I actually am trying to work on a project, and it's definitely going to be what I like to call country soul. And like I said, I think I've never really been like an R&B head. I love R&B music, don't get me wrong, but I feel like we need something different. And I feel like, I have that country twang to be able to do it. And so that's just something I love to do. I love Jimmy Allen. He's one of my favorite African-American country artists and is very successful in country. So I definitely look up to him. So yeah, I'm definitely going to work on that, trying to eye for a winter project, if not the fall, but definitely winter this year. Try to get out an EP, but I'm definitely working on some music. I've been doing a lot of gigs and stuff like that, and of course, grad school keeps me busy. I'll be graduating next March with my master's in school counseling. So, yeah, I'm very busy. Then I'm also a probation officer, for a full-time job. So I have a lot going on. I'm a very busy man.
Clearly,
very busy man.
Clearly, and
Absolutely.
you got a support system over here, man. Like, you did amazing. Like, my big thing was that, like, I wanted to make sure even during this, like, we were showing all the HBCU students that were on in these singing shows this year love. Because one of the big things, and the reason why it is literally, as we do this live, it is 12:18. We're going way over the time because the conversation was so good, is because, and this is, and I told Jada Spite this when I interviewed her on January the 14th. I felt bad personally because Pulse was still around at that point in time. We were prominent at that time. Like, we were killing it, and we showed love to Jada Spite, and she was getting a lot of love from the video that we put out. And she got to that top spot, and me being a basketball fan, I sort of tuned out Sunday Best, started watching the bubble basketball, and then I'm watching with my mom that last episode. They were like, America voted. America voted for what? The president? Like, what? America voted for who? I thought that was in November. Like, oh, they voted for the winner of Sunday Best, and it's like, the winner is not Jada Spite. I'm like, bro, what? And I'm like, I felt bad because I'm like, dang, like, I felt like we could have got Jada in there. And, no matter what, I understand you got to be patient, with time and with God and all that. But it's like, at the same time, it's like, this is what this platform is for, to promote, just individuals like you and Victor and Ine and Jada and Deshaun. So I felt bad, you know what I'm saying? So this is, me saying, okay, this is what I wish I could have did before, and I didn't want, just from Victor taking up a lot of oxygen, because Victor is such a huge star within our culture, that we weren't showing you and Deshaun and Ine love. So I appreciate you coming on. No problem. Man, like, man, send me the song, man. You see, we got the music, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, we might play that tomorrow, man. Send it over, man.
Absolutely. I will. Absolutely.
Let's do it, man. Absolutely. But outside of that, man, tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Deion Q Warren, and then on Facebook at Deion Warren. So that's where you can find it.
And I got to ask you one last thing. I know it's getting late, but I know you talk to Victor behind the scenes. You're already close. You'll hop on live every night. Tell you that I don't hop on. I'll be seeing it. So, like, what is your public advice to Victor as he embarks upon hopefully making it to the finale?
I would just say, just to make sure that you are staying true to your artistry. Don't try and let anyone turn you into something that you don't feel like you're going to be comfortable with being, because as we all know, that's what they like to call an industry puppet. So I would definitely say go into it, make sure. And I told him this. I was like, I love the upbeat songs, that they're giving him, and he's doing all his dancing and stuff. I was like, but I told him, I said, I really hope they're not trying to turn you into a pop star, because I don't see that for you. Not that my vision matters, but I don't think that's who he is in heart, because we both know that he loves gospel music. He wants to be a gospel singer. So that's contrary to what a gospel singer is. A gospel singer is not a pop star. So I just kind of felt like, that's where they were kind of throw him. And I was just like, I just really hope that's not what they're trying to do. But yeah, I just want him to, to be vocal about the things that he wants for himself, and to make sure, that, whatever decisions that he make, it's for, it's in his best interest, and not in the best interest of the show, or in the best interest of who he's trying to appeal to. Just stay true to you, and God will order your steps after that.
Man, the only thing I say is, listen, God gonna spend the block for Victor no matter what. Telling you, bro, he gonna spend the block, find out some blessings, boy, fire it off, fire. You know what I'm saying? You gonna make it happen. But I appreciate you, man. Let's definitely tap in more. And yeah, man, I appreciate you for coming on.
No problem. Thank you so much.
All right, man.
All right, good night.